Fresh off a victory by the Austrian Colin Morikawa, we're going to preview the Arnold Palmer Invitational and celebrate Sepp Straka's win last week here on the Gaming Golf Podcast. Everybody, welcome to this week's edition of Gaming Golf. Jeff Erickson here with Jeff Ritter and Scott Jenstad. As always, we are brought to you by the folks at WinBet, and we are on the Blue Wire Podcast Network. Not as always, we had a guy that we kind of joked as a guy that has a way of just kind of backing in at top tens, and they're like, oh, wait, he backed into a victory last week. Sepp Straka won last week. Jeff, who are you going to compare Sepp Straka to now?
Well, I think what I'm going to do is just flip the analogy. I mean, we called him the Austrian Matt Kuchar for about almost a full season. I think now you have to say Matt Kuchar is the American Sepp Straka. I think that's probably the highest.
That's not good enough. Not good enough. Matt, because Kuchar doesn't fly that high. Well, he probably has. That's not.
But true. He has flown. Probably. I mean, I think Sepp Straka would sign up for Matt Kuchar's career right now. I think.
100%. I mean, yeah. Yeah, that's true.
But that was a cool. It's funny when these players who don't have much of a profile and we latch onto them in this show because we look at the numbers and the trends and we just we spotted names. I didn't even know what the guy looked like a year ago, know, and I'd only probably seen him twice on television even before last week. But it was a funny joke to make. But we did watch him enough to know it. This guy, he's doing it again, backing his way into those high finishes. And like you said, backed his way into victory.
Well, and he roared on, but he roared on to victory. I think that's the difference. He really was awesome in that back stretch, and
that's true.
He did get awfully lucky on the timing on 18. That Shane Lowry had to deal with a monsoon on 18, whereas he didn't. Missed out on a birdie opportunity there, as Lowry made clear in the press conference there. Meanwhile, Scott and I were just sweating Daniel Berger's utter collapse on Sunday.
That was the toughest Sunday of golf I can remember in a while. I had Daniel Berger in our league. I had him 19-1 to win.
Yeah.
5-shot lead. You never know what happens on Sunday, but I sure as hell thought it would last more than 5 holes.
Right. He didn't make a putt all day. Literally didn't make a putt more than 3 feet long.
18 feet of putt. And it was like 21. It was 16 feet of putt through 16. And he made like a 5-footer on 17 or whatever it was. But he was like less than 25 feet of putts the entire day. It was nuts. It was hard to watch. He wasn't hitting it well. You could tell he was feeling it. And then 5-shot lead, and Lowry on the 7th was tied. Like it's just that was an unbelievable turnaround. That was a tough one to stomach. And he chipped in twice. The only way he made it in the hole was chipping in. And shoot 74 or whatever he shot with 2 chip-ins is really tough for a player that good.
There's an anecdote from the 97 Masters where Tiger, 21 years old, rolls to his record victory. But Earl Woods tells Tiger on Saturday night when he sleeps on, I think, a 6 or 7 shot lead, where he tells him, Tiger, tomorrow will be the toughest round you've ever played in your life, to keep him mentally sharp. But also, there's just that feeling has got to be so strange for a PGA Tour pro to be so far ahead, still have 18 tough holes in front of you. Everybody in the world expects you to win. You expect yourself to win, but you got to go do it. That's just that's a hard one to prepare for. Tiger was ready that day, but Daniel Berger never been there before.
He was minus 575 teeing off on the first hole. Like that is a massive favorite, but it's just you could tell it's one of those days. Like he knows if he shoots par, he wins. So that's gotta be a weird mindset.
Put it middle of the fairway on one, stuck it to like 5-6 feet, and then missed the birdie putt. And then you could almost see him right there, like, oh, not today, no. And it just played itself out after that there. So that was rough. All right. Enough of reliving the past. That was tough. Let's move on to this week with the Arnold Palmer Invitational at Bay Hill. it's a really good field compared to last year where it got wedged between WGC and then I think the TPC after that. The timing's much better this year.
Oh yeah. Finally, the stars have kind of aligned again, after a week off. We had an amazing field at Riv, and now this, we're kind of spoiled again with so many stars converging on one spot. And it's a fun golf course. I mean, it sets up for bombers. I mean, it's almost like as you look at it, this is one of those weeks where you could say, at least I did as I was preparing for this, is thinking, who's kind of a lousy putter and a great ball striker, and I'm moving them up my board. And I don't know, we're going to miss Bryson taking that crazy angle on I think it's number 8, the par 5, where he just shoots across the lake.
Cut across the water. That was
but
beautiful.
In a way, that's kind of this event in a microcosm of just like, you can overpower this golf course and really use it to your advantage. Certainly Bryson did last year when he won the event.
Yeah, sure did. I think it was 6, wasn't it?
Maybe it's 6. Yeah, that sounds right. That sounds right.
Yeah, and I love him celebrating in triumph after crossing the water, whipping up the crowd. He was likable. It was nice. It was fun. That's the thing. Bryson's such an interesting character there. He came in as like the nerdy professor, then he became Brutus Beefcake there, and it's just all along he's drawn scorn from golf media, whether it's for his intellectual approach to the game or for bludgeoning courses. It's a shame he had to withdraw, but it's proof though that wrist is actually something that's a problem. You can't even show up to defend a tournament. That's a problem. I wouldn't be surprised if the TPC is in danger in a few weeks too.
Probably. Well, certainly. I mean, this one, it would be hard for him to show up as the defending champ and then like take iron off the 6th hole, right? I mean, nothing says I am diminished than anything less than trying to do what he did last year. So,
exactly.
I think if he doesn't feel ready, shut it down for the players. It's an even bigger event, but it is too bad because that was a really fun sideshow last year.
Absolutely. Let's talk about enough about who is not here. Let's talk about who is here. It's a great field. Starting with the 5,000s, we'll do our usual kind of by tiers. The 5 digits, I should say, not 5,000s, the 10,000 or more. Starting off with world number 1, Jon Rahm, 11-4. Rory McIlroy priced up to 11-1. Victor Hovland, 10-8. Scotty Scheffler's at 10-6. Hideki Matsuyama's at 10-3. What grabs you from this tier, Scott?
I mean, Jon Rahm grabs me. I think Jon Rahm, if I had to pick someone to win, I mean, obviously odds go into factor here, but I think Rahm, hit the ball really well last couple of weeks, but just putted poorly. And, he putted badly and still finished 21st and 10th. Like the ball striking just so good. He gained 7.2 to Genesis, 11.2 at Phoenix. He's never played here though, which is kind of weird. I was surprised that he's never played here. So that's one thing, maybe a little bit of a detriment there. If I had to take someone and we're just kind of playing in a vacuum, it's Rahm for me for sure. I think his odds are too low to actually bet on him. But I'd take someone else. I think it's Hideki, kind of going off the Jeff Ritter, guys who really good ball strikers who struggle with the flat stick. I think that Hideki is hitting the ball really well right now. He's a little bit down at Genesis, but Phoenix and Farmers and Sony, and he hit the ball really well. I like Hideki to make a pretty good run this week. I think everybody will like Rory because he's 5 straight top 10 to this tournament, kind of rolls out of bed and finishes top 10 here. But I was a little bit worried how he hit the ball at Genesis, putted really well, kind of saved himself. But I'd probably go Rahm if I can fit it in. 11-4 is really expensive, but then I drop down to Hideki.
Yeah, I think Rory probably will be the most popular one off this tier for daily fantasy, but it's still, how do you get away from it? Given his track record, he's won here before. He's playing well this year, 10th at Riviera. Feels like maybe he's starting to line things up for that run up to the Masters, which is, of course, the major he wants more than any other at this point to finish his career Grand Slam. So it's important for Rory to start playing well. The signs are there. The course is a great fit. I don't know. I mean, you can make a case for anybody off this tier. And I do think it makes sense when you have so many stars in the field to grab one as part of your build. But I think I'd probably still lean Rory, even if he's the popular choice off of it.
And then, that has been mentioned. Hovland, who's pretty much won around the world constantly the last 4 or 5 months, and hit the ball really well at Riviera and putted well, hit the ball well. After that weird bump at Phoenix, maybe wasn't just as his place was off that week. He got right back on the horse at Genesis. It was really good again.
Yeah, T4 at Riviera. I mean, that's pretty good. And it was good on Sunday, which I always like to see too. Yeah, I'm going to have some serious FOMO not going Hovland. In fact, I really regret not having him on my team this year because once again, my lack of self-discipline is just appalling. And when it comes to the auction, but I waited around and then I got Brooks Koepka, who I don't really care for, and that kind of just screwed my whole like money management thing. I did get Decky at least, so I like him. So there's that. But
I'm just waiting for Dustin Johnson to actually show up and play some events.
Yeah, not great.
It's not great. It's not great.
Not feel bad, but still not great. It's worth noting we haven't had a top tier guy win yet. The closest we had is Scotty Scheffler, and he wasn't in that tier last time when he won. So, and it's kind of interesting to see what happens with him going forward, or just that we get like a favorite to win.
Yeah, I feel like every year we talk about players who come out of nowhere and emerge. And, this year, especially though, this run of breakthrough victories is surprising. I mean, we talked about Sepp Straka more than I would venture any other golf podcast out there, leading up to his win. But we still didn't see it. We never really flagged him as like someone was going to win last week, even as we, keep the joke running.
Decky must have been top tier at Sony, right?
You're probably
probably.
I don't know if he was. I don't know. I actually don't remember, but you're right. I mean, none of the Rom, JT, DJ, like none of the huge names have won yet.
Yeah, I got to go back in that. You got to be right though that he was 5 digits. I'm pretty sure. If he wasn't 5 digits, he was like 98, 99. I'm sure. So I could be full of it. But I thought I saw a stat that Scheffler at 16 was like the highest ranked guy to have won so far in 2022. But I might have read something that was blatantly lying to me too, so that's also possible. All right, we'll move on from that disinformation to provide more disinformation in the $9,000 tier. Sung J M at 99 missed the cut last week. Will Z at 94, Hatton at 93. I think this is his U.S. debut. Matt Fitzpatrick 92, Leishman at 91, Adam Scott at 9,000. Jeff Ritter, what do you like in this tier?
I'll take the tier, please, if I could. I like them all. I think maybe I'd probably fade Sung Jae, I guess, for that price. I don't like the miscut last week. Doesn't seem quite himself lately. But I really like Zalatoris. And I think we talked about it a couple of weeks ago where we just kind of quickly said, who are the best players on tour without a tour win at this point? And Zalatoris is up at the top or very near the top of that list. And here's a course profile for him. He finished 10th last year in his debut. But, as I said, I was looking for guys who hit it great and struggle with putting. That is Will Zalatoris music I'm playing, as we get it going. So I think he leads the tour in tee to green, if I'm not mistaken. I have to double check that stat. But if he doesn't lead it, he's certainly close. Might have gotten past last week. But that's his bread and butter. I feel like this is a great fit. And, we're just following the trends of these breakthrough victories. Why not now? So he's my favorite off this tier. He's going to be one of my favorites later in the podcast as well.
Well, we're going to do a lot of agreeing this week then, because I think this is the week. I think this is the week that Will Z will finally wins. I mean, betting him 9,400. I think is an interesting spot. If you wanted to skip that top tier, you could do it and play like 2 9s and then a couple 8s, or you could actually go. You could go with Hovland and Zalatoris, and then get down in the 7s pretty well. I love how Zalatoris hitting the ball. I mean, Jeff kind of hit it all, but he was 2nd, then 6th, then he had the COVID, then he was 26th at Genesis, but he lost strokes on the green and hit it really well. He's number 1 in shot gains approach in this field in the last 24 rounds. We talk about shot gains approach a lot. This is a tournament that really, really exemplifies that, and you really want those because these are long. I think the average par 3 on this course is like 215 or something like that. A ton of 175, 200-yard approaches. So you really want a shot gains approach guy. I love Will Z this week. I think he finally breaks through. I also like Matthew Fitzpatrick a ton in this range, 9,200. Going back to him again, but I mean, three straight top 10s here. He was 10th here last year, then 9th, then 2nd in 2019. Did have the WD at Genesis, but it was an illness, better than a back injury or something like that. He was 10th at Phoenix, gained in tee to green, gained in approach. I just love how Fitz is playing right now. This course obviously fits him well. He's played really well here. I think a Zalatoris Fitz kind of start can get you a lot of other, a couple fun things in the 8. You can kind of go with a more balanced approach, and I really like that as a start this week. And
you might even get lesser roster percentage because people are sick to their stomach after having the late withdrawal on him. I mean, the thing is, and the fear, like, oh God, what if it happens again with the early start time, the East Coast start time? Maybe that's plausible. So Yeah, not a bad path at all. Okay, so we like this tier a lot. Anybody taking a chance on Hatton at 93?
Nah, I'd rather go Leishman for 91. Just U.S. debut. I don't know. It's probably a good course fit for him too, but I would probably. I'm with Scott. We're aligned on the will. We didn't talk about this in advance. We never do, but we are.
I was late getting into the room. I don't know. Did you guys prep here? I don't know.
We did the whole show, and then we just, said we'll run it back.
Why didn't you just publish that one? It would have been better than anything I could have brought to the table. Jesus. All right, moving on to the 8s. Billy Horschel at 89. Everybody loves Billy Ho in Florida. Sam Burns, 88. Everyone says use him in Florida, not on the West Coast. They didn't tell me that until after he missed the cut. Thanks, guys. Max Homa, 87. Another California boy. Taylor Gooch at 86. Russell Henley, 85. Jason Kokrak, 84. Paul Casey, 83. Sergio at 81. Keith Mitchell at 81. Cameron Tringali at 8,000. I think we went Jeff first last time. Scott, you get to go first here.
I'm going to shock nobody here. I love Paul Casey again at 8,300.
Yeah.
He played him at Genesis, did really well, finished 15th, and actually lost strokes putting in that tournament. He gained 6.7 tee to green, 5.6 approach, played really, really well. I guess he finished 12th. Do I have that right? I think he was finished 12th. Finished 10th here last year. Hit it really well again, lost strokes putting. So if he just putt kind of just even average, I really like his chances. But he's just playing really solid right now. I know he's 45, but kind of having a really good stretch here, really good run. I love Casey. I like Keith Mitchell again too at 8,100. I think that he's played 5 events in 2022. He had the 1 missed cut. Other 4 top 12s. I mean, that's he's playing really solidly. Drives the ball well, which we need here. Last week was a lot of putting. He kind of lucked out a little bit. He was a really good putter, but still gained on approach, still getting a tee green, not as much as you want to see, but still played well. Good history here too. 5th in 2020, 6th in 2019 for a guy who's not really been among the elites quite yet. You'd like to see the course history is good here too. I like those two. If I had to go up there, I think Billy Horschel at 8,900 is pretty interesting. Might actually place him on a win bet because he got some pretty long odds. Struck it really well last week at Honda in kind of a similar type environment.
I think Mitchell just seems mispriced. I expected to see him in the 9s when I went looking for him early. I think he's also past winner at this event. Is this not? This is his one victory.
I thought it was the Honda.
Was it Honda?
Yeah, he won Honda.
He won Honda. Okay, but he's been in top 10 all 3 times he's played it, or 2 out of 3. This just feels like, the guy's still playing the best golf of his life right now, and for me, it was just an auto pick at that price, and it's rare that I would start building a team around a guy at 8,100, but that's what I felt like doing here. I felt like that was a no-brainer pick, and easily my favorite off the tier.
Yeah, 2 good spots there. And that's the thing is, if you feel like you can, it really makes you want to avoid the 5s. If you got 2 guys in the 9s we love, 2 guys in the 8s we love, really tough to spend up on the big guns there a little bit. But you can't afford 4 from those 2 groups, though, either is the problem.
As I was building, I kind of like the 2 9s and 2 8s and then jump down rather than the 5-digit guys, but understood that any of those 5-digit guys can win pretty easily. They're all elite players, but I like the build a little better without using one of them.
Yeah, I think that's how I might lean. But even trying to get, at least it's low 8s too. It's not high 8s, so you might be able to pull it off. You're gonna have to go cheap in the 7,000s. Lucky for us, we're going to do that. But first, a note from our Blue Wire sponsors. All right. That was a note from our Blue Wire sponsors. If those of you aren't streaming us live, which is most of you. Let's talk a little bit about the 7,000s, guys. It's always a deep tier, and, it's too numerous to name them all. So I'm just going to pull the string and let you go. Jeff, we'll start with you because your man, Sepp Straka, is still only 7,300 this week.
Still underpriced. I don't like to go to the well with the first-time winner coming off that first-time victory, though. Just as it's just maybe every once in a while I might be wrong, but I feel like more often than not, I'm very right to just life-altering, totally different week now coming off a victory. So I'll stay away. But I do like. I'm still kind of buying into this Jason Day comeback season idea. He appears to be healthy. This would be a course fit. So at that price, I'm intrigued by Jason Day. Gary Woodland has given me a little bit of hope for my upcoming season-long fantasy season, that there's somebody on my team that is still interested in playing decent golf after kind of backdooring his way into top 5 at the Honda. And then Chris Kirk also. Another one was kind of drifted for a while, but he looked good last week, and he's got a good history also at Bay Hill. So those would be my 3 off the kind of upper 7,000s.
With how much I like the 9s and 8, I kind of dropped down in the 7s as I was looking for guys. I didn't love the 7,600 to 7,900 range. I'm actually scared of Jason Day, to be honest with you. I have him on my season-long team. I don't like how he's hit the ball the last few weeks. I'm a little bit worried that that renaissance maybe is not coming. I like Cameron Young down here again. I was really impressed with Cameron Young last week. He had the 2nd place finish and then finished 16th last week. I really like that he kind of backed up the kind of performance when nobody knew who he was, and in the mix at Genesis, then finished 16th. Hit the ball really well. I like that his driving distance is a big factor here. I mean, he hits the ball a freaking ton. Has gained off the tee in like 11 of 12 tournaments, and I like that here. You can kind of bomb it down there and gouge a little bit. Gain an approach last 2 weeks, gained big off the tee the last 3 weeks. I think that he's a guy that's making a name for himself, and I really like how he's playing. I really like seeing the bounce, kind of the bounce back off that 2nd place finish. You'll make fun of me, but I like Keegan Bradley again at 7,300. He's made all 4 cuts in 2022, gained on tee to green and approach in all 4 starts. It's always the putter with Keegan, but if you give me like an average putting week, I think he's been making cuts without the good putting. So only one top 25, but at 7,300, you make the cut this week. I'm good with that. You're going to have to get 6 this week. There's only 120 guys in this field. 65 plus ties make the cut. You're going to have to get 6. There's a high percentage of guys making the cut. Keegan has made 9 cuts in a row here, finished 10th last year, so good history here. If you look at the whole field here, he's 13th in the field in tee to green last 24 rounds, 15th on approach, just ball striking really well. And my last guy in this range, kind of the same theory, is I like Lucas Glover again. Gained 4.5 in approach last week at Honda, finished 30th. He's made 5 of 6 cuts, including a 5th place finish. Really good, some good ball striking numbers over this stretch so far in 2022. Has only lost on approach once in the last 5 weeks. A couple really big gainers there. So I think Glover, another guy, makes Keegan and Glover kind of make the cut, finish 25th, and I'll kind of make my cash with the top 4 guys.
Jeff, I know you were focusing on the upper half of the 7,000s. So is there anything in the lower half of the 7,000s?
I miss Cameron Young. That's a great call. And he's a guy who's, he's a rookie, but power is certainly the hallmark of his game so far, ranking among the top players in driving distance off the tee to green game. And hasn't really had his heart broken yet. He's playing well, but he's, got to be feeling good about himself heading into this week. So I like that pick a lot. Otherwise, I'm looking for Patrick. I'd like to see Patrick Reed show some life for my fantasy team, even if it just gives me a week to trade him away. I just can't believe that the guy that I picked for one of my stars is priced at $7,400 and at Bay Hill. That's quite a fall.
He's just not showing. I mean, Patrick Reed's 150 to 1 to win this week. Like it is an unbelievable downfall. I mean, you look at his numbers, look at stats. He's lost strokes on tee to green now in 10 straight events where there's been a shot tracker. Like, what are we looking at? And this is a guy that was like elite a year ago. Like, what is going on? Like the guy won last year at Farmers. It's crazy. He had like 5 top 10s last year.
This happens though in golf.
Yeah,
David Duval collapses. Luke Donald was world number 1, and now he's like world 450. It's like it comes fast and it goes fast sometimes, and it's just such a crazy game that it's just the margin for error seems like it's really fine. And I don't know. That's my insight for today.
No one that I know of has asked Reed directly about Saudi, but I feel like
would you ask Reed a direct question?
Yeah, of course. I have.
Yeah, that's right. Good point.
I have, but
has he called up Allen and said, I know Putin's invaded Ukraine and all, but he's backing up a great tour. It's a chance to change the PGA Tour. No, he didn't do that. Okay, just want to make sure. But
it's just stunning how bad his iron play is. When that was like he was really good. He was great around the green. He could hit. I mean, it's wild to see him this bad. It's just crazy.
Scott, who would you prefer for the rest of the season, Jason Day or Patrick Reed?
God, Jason Day.
Ah, damn it! I was going to try to make a trade with you live on the show, but couldn't even get that one done.
Man, I would love to do that because I'm not super high on Day, but I look at Reed and it's hard to figure out how he's going to figure it out because he's so.
All right,
awesome.
Offer stands. Just tell me by the end of the episode if you want to think.
Just for what it's worth, Mickelson is out there, and if you just email our commissioner, today is March 1st. You can get in line to get him. He's available.
I think he's good. I think Phil will play the Masters. I think he'll play the match. It's a perfect friendly spot for him to return. They won't make him do a press conference if he doesn't want to. The crowds still love him.
So pick him up. I'm
he
telling you,
loves it.
he's available.
Well,
he's yours.
I'm not sure he's going to play 4 rounds at the Masters, but I think he's going to.
Hard to see him not teed up there, though, right? He's got.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
We can get. I'm just going to make some sort of catty joke, and all that. But I'm going to move on because it's forcing at this point. All right. 6,000s bargain basement. There's lots of them. There's I know Len Hawkworth, went all the way down to 6,100 for one of his recommendations in his article this week.
Wow. Who was that?
You'll have to read it at rotowire.com/free. Get your free 10-day show.
I try not to read anything before we do the show, and then I read everything after. So I have
Adam Shank. Adam Shank wanted to shank it up. But I'm going to throw a name out here. See what you guys think. 6,400 Danny Willett. Does that seem cheap to me?
On my list of 4 guys down here I like. So yes.
Hey, I'm not terribly dumb. Yeah. All right. So tell me more.
He just hit it really well last week. Like he gained 5.6 tee to green at Honda. He just was awful on the greens. He lost 4.5 strokes putting, finished 48th and was kind of in the mix, gained 3.1 in approach. He won in October on the Euro Tour. He wasn't great before that, earlier this year. He wasn't great in Dubai and Abu Dhabi. He wasn't great there, but I like the fact that he hit the ball so well. I like the price. I mean, 6,400 for a guy that has shown he can have some moves up the standings. Obviously, won the Masters a long time ago, but I just like how well he hit the ball last week. And at this price, I think he's worth a step.
Jeff,
I like the same price for Matt Wallace. He's the guy that I flagged. I had him on my team last year.
Yeah.
And he was a kind of shows up at the big games and the big tracks. And I think he's missed the last couple of cuts he's played, but he's been over in the US for a bit now, a couple events. And, but he does have a good track record at Bay Hill. So I flagged him as maybe someone to round out your roster with.
I will not give you his recent stats.
Better or worse than Patrick Reed?
Courtesy.
Worse. Last 2 tournaments worse than Patrick Reed.
Well, his price cheaper.
But you're right. I mean, he's played well here, and he's always a guy that just kind of shows up and competes. It's weird just how bad, because he's a pretty good ball striker too, and it's been bad. Yeah. But the other guys I like here, I like Adam Svenson at 6,700. I felt like his price was going to be higher. I mean, he finished 9th last week at Honda.
A lot of TV coverage from him, yeah.
He did finish 9th last week, and he lost 4.6 shots on the green. Like, he was the absolute tee to green leader in the whole field last week. He gained 11.8 shots on tee to green, just putted it terribly. He was good around the greens, good in approach, good off the tee, just putted terribly, or he might have won the tournament last week. He's 5 for 5 in cuts in 2022, 2 top 10s. You give me a guy who's making cuts and also a flashing couple top 10s. You got to love that under 7,000. I think Pat Kazire is live this week at 6,500. 5 events so far this year. 1 missed cut, but 2 top 25s. He gained big on approach in 3 of his last 4. He was 10th at Phoenix, gained really well tee to green. So I think he's if you need to really save some money, maybe you want to scoot up a little bit higher, get to Hovland or Rahm or Rory somewhere. I think Kazire is a guy that can make the cut too. We didn't mention him in the 7,000, but I think Lanto Griffin, he's low 7,100. 2 top 20s this year. He's made 4 cuts out of 4 events, all 4 in the top 40. Gained nicely taking it 3 or 4. Didn't hit it well at Genesis, but was 21st here last year, so I think he's playable. And there's a lot of guys in the low 7s and high 6s that are playable this week. I think there's some roster structure stuff you can do where you can get maybe a couple of high guys in there where it's usually a little bit tougher to do that. And more than half the guys make the field, so maybe you can get a little riskier with the guys in the 6s.
I would also add Dylan Fratelli. He's made a few cuts now. You're just looking for form and looking for momentum. And he's a guy, I think he's been top 60 in the world before. I've seen him in these WGCs, could be a big game hunter, certainly not scared to play well in a field like this. So another guy off this list.
Top 30 the last 2 weeks. Nice momentum. Made that eagle on 18 on Sunday. That was sweet too.
Didn't he have a nice little run in the match play last year too, if I recall correctly? I want to say at least maybe he had a big upset. I think he was like the last guy in the field and then beat some players. So I don't know. That seems like that strikes a chord for me. All right, let's talk gaming, our betting sheet. Jeff Ritter, who do you got on your betting sheet?
Well, I'll go right back to kind of the guys we talked about earlier. I started looking for Will Z. I see him 25-1 on golf odds. How's that look compared to
that's what I have. That's what I have on a couple different books here too.
Yeah, I mean, I like that a lot. Is Keith Mitchell still as pitifully underpriced odds as he is in DFS, or
So
has Vegas caught on to him?
4,500 is on DK is the best I
45.
saw.
Good.
That's what I had, 45. Yeah.
I saw 29 for Will Z on FanDuel. I don't know if you can still get that, but just come on, definitely check that if you are in a district that allows you to bet FanDuel.
Yeah, I would start there. And also, I wonder if Scott is going to will Keegan Bradley to a victory soon, the same way we willed Sepp Straka over the hump. That I do like the stats he cited. He is a good fit for this place, and he's won before in big events. So that's probably worth it at 60 to 1 or so. It looks
Points
like.
bet has him at 90. I don't know if, again, this is if you go to rotowire.com, you go to the golf page, you click on sports betting. We give you best odds on 4 different books: DraftKings, FanDuel, BetMGM, and PointsBet. So just keep that in mind.
Those are my 3. I would go, Mitchell, Zalatoris, Bradley.
Jeff, good calling for Telly. He finished T9 at the match play last year.
Yeah. I do remember some things sometimes.
That's pretty good. I think it's Jeff and I are on the same page this week, so hopefully that's gonna be a good thing. I'm definitely betting Will Z at 25 to 1. I like Paul Casey at 35 to 1. I think he's going to be on the leaderboard on the weekend, which is kind of all you want at 35 to 1. I like Keith Mitchell at 45 to 1. Also, I think I'm gonna be playing that, and then I'm gonna jump back. Keegan's 80 to 1 where I saw him. I just think it's a little bit FOMO there. He can't win and me not bet him at this point. So I'm going to put a couple bucks on him. And there's actually I got like some deep darts this week. And we're talking a couple bucks here. But I like Glover at 150 to 1. I like Willett at 250 to 1 and Svenson at 250 to 1, just for some fun, if they make a run up the leaderboard, some fun watch money. But my main bets will be Will Z and Casey and Mitchell, and maybe a little bit of Billy Ho, since I don't have anybody in the top, under 25 to 1. I might throw an extra bet on there. Billy Ho's 55 to 1. I like him to maybe make a run after he hit the ball so well last week at Honda.
All right. Briefly, one and done. Is anybody not going to take Will Z here?
I just locked him in, as I'm making a habit now ever since the Scotty Scheffler incident of a few weeks ago. I've locked in Will Z as my one and done pick for the week.
Well, if Will Z wins this week, Jeff and I are both going to share that prize, because I'm going to do it too. I was really close on Rom, but I think not playing here ever bought me off him. I'm going to find a better spot for him with a little bit of course history, but I do think he's in a good spot this week, hitting the ball so well, putting badly. I always like elite guys like that, just putts well. It's going to be right there. But I think this is the week that Will Z finally breaks through. I think we're going to win this week, so I'm not going to jump off just because Jeff's on him too.
Yeah. I'm either Will Z or Hovland. Haven't decided that yet. I don't think Hovland played here last year, so that might be also again a vote against him there too. I don't know.
I think you're going to get him at only a couple people on him this week. And I think we have 50 people in our pool. I don't think you'll get more than 2 or 3 guys. And I always like getting great players when nobody's on them. So that's I think that's a pretty a sneaky good one this week.
All right, you talked me into it, and that way you get someone that's different than you to get you one less person on Will Z. So when you win, so there you go.
When I win at the end,
I see what you're doing.
The difference between Will Z's win and Hovland's third this week. When I win the end of the year, then I'll make up the difference to you. I promise.
Okay. Keep it fair. Fair. All right. Any parting thoughts, guys?
Well, I guess I'd like an update on my trade offer live during the show. I paid $25 for Reed in the auction.
Oh,
what did Jason Day go for?
Either 8 or 9.
The offer is on the table.
I looked at Reed a little deeper after you said that, and I just don't think I can pull the trigger.
Oh, man.
He's so bad. He's so bad right now.
It would be fun. It would give us material for the rest of the season.
It would. The problem is I really like Jason Day too, so there's I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a good
Hogard for Patrick Reed. Who says no? Hogard did not quite work out so well for me last week. I'm keeping him on my team, but there you go.
It's a really good and intriguing offer, and all that. I just I'm gonna hold off. I think.
All right, fair enough.
Classic.
Sometimes the best trade to make is the trade you don't make. So that's.
Guys, I just want to throw one other guy. I want to mention one other guy. Late withdrawal in Phoenix was Webb Simpson, and hasn't played since. I haven't heard a whole lot about his status. He's not in the field this week. This is completely 100% selfish because I have him in our league, and I wonder what the heck's wrong with him. So sending out an APB on him.
All right, I'll get back to you. Don't know.
All right.
It sounds like baseball has gone sideways in the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, we're gonna move on past that right now because this is a happy place. This is where I wasn't looking at Twitter for a while, but you asked me on Web Simpson. You went to look on Twitter for that, and then you saw all the baseball stuff. And
I
it's really
did.
bad.
So yeah, it's
I know. We know exactly what happened there. But
we'll stick with positivity. I agree. Let's we need to get a win. I'm hoping to. I decided I don't want 5-shot leads on. I've had too many bad ones. I had a Russell Henley 80-1 3-shot lead last year, and he blew. He was done by the front 9. So go ahead and stick with like Scotty Scheffler coming from behind and winning tournaments from now on.
Good plan. Good plan. That's going to wrap it up for today. Thanks everybody for listening to Gaming Golf. Good luck to you on your DK lineups, your leagues, your betting sheets, your one and done pools, all that and more. We'll look forward to talking to you again next week.